So if you love vanilla fragrances, you absolutely have to check out Nishane's Ani. So let's review it now. Hey, what's going on? Hunter here and welcome back to my channel. And if you are new, what I do is I make fragrance related content. So if you love fragrances, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below and also be sure to follow my fragrance Instagram page. But that is correct. Today we are covering one of the most popular, one of the most loved vanilla fragrances on the entire market ever since it came out. Of course, I'm talking about Nishane's Ani. And I'm so excited to be bringing this one to you guys and finally getting a bottle of this stuff in my collection because I actually had a decant of it that I used to wear all the time, pretty much went through the entire thing, and now having a 100 ml bottle in my collection to wear whenever I want. Before we actually go over some information about Ani, I do want to mention that this fragrance was sent out for review by the guys over at So Avant-Garde. Now, So Avant-Garde is actually a distributor for many designer and niche brands, and they have a huge catalog of fragrances on their website. So I'll make sure to leave their link down below in the comment section, and also make sure to use code FragHunter15 to get an additional 15% off of your entire order at checkout. So Ani was launched in 2019, so it is actually still fairly new, and it was actually known to be the best launch of the entire year, so you know it's gonna be good. As far as retail prices go for this bottle, you can get a 50 ml for $235, or you can opt for the 100 ml like I have in hand for $310. But of course, once you use my code FragHunter15, that will knock 15% off of both of those prices. Now, the concentration is actually an extrait de parfum, which means the highest of perfume oils you can use in fragrances. So this one is highly concentrated and you are getting what you're paying for, of course. The perfumer behind this one is actually Cecile Zarokian, which is known for making one of my other favorite fragrances by Mas Milano, which is Tango right there. She does phenomenal work and I cannot wait to try some other fragrances that she has gotten her hands on. So with all that information out of the way, let's go and look at the packaging and presentation you will get with this fragrance now. All right, so unfortunately, I only have the bottle in hand, but wow, this bottle looks absolutely stunning with the black and gold label on the front. Of course, Ani, Nishane, Extrait de Parfum, and then you have Paris, which this fragrance is actually resembling. On the bottom, you do have your sticker, Extrait de Parfum, some information as well. On the top, you do have the Nishane cap, which is, by the way, extremely weighted, extremely heavy, and it just feels top tier quality. Now the cap doesn't really click into place, or it's not magnetic or anything like that. It's held on by friction. But what's kind of interesting is once you put it on, it is a little bit loose, but if it sits for maybe a few minutes or so, it actually tightens up, which is kind of different. And then on the back, you do have that Nishane horse emblem on the back of that label. But all in all, the bottle is just top tier quality, extremely heavy and thick glass. In the top, you have ginger, bergamot, pink pepper, and green notes. In the mid, you have cardamom, black currant, and Turkish rose. And in the base, you have vanilla, benzoin, sandalwood, cedarwood, patchouli, ambergris, and musk. And this fragrance will be classified as a sweet spicy. So, got my test strip right here. Let's go ahead and test out the atomizer, of course, and show you how this one sprays. Very decent distribution, as you saw in the air. It did spray quite a bit of juice. So, let's remind myself of the opening of Ani now. So like I said, I did wear this a lot from my decant. I would just carry that with me, reapply it whenever, because that opening is literally to die for, guys. It is that good. Now for a vanilla based fragrance, the opening is sort of different than what you would expect. It does have this kind of citrusy bergamot opening, along with this kind of fizzy, zesty ginger note, which is very prominent as well. It's probably the thing that sticks out the most to me is that ginger. So if you are also a ginger lover, you will absolutely love this opening of Ani. There's just something so memorable about this opening and just so sophisticated, man. I don't know how to explain it, but it's done so well. It also does have a slight, and when I mean slight, I mean really slight green touch to it, which is obviously coming from that green notes. It's not necessarily a green fragrance or anything like that, but you can pick up on a little bit of greenness as well. But once you make your way into the mid of this, obviously you got that black currant, which does bring a little bit of a fruity touch. But what also stands out a lot is that pink pepper. It's extremely peppery, spicy of course as well. It almost actually smells more like a black pepper to me, so I'm not sure what's going on with that, but the pink pepper is listed, at least in the top, which I don't get much of it in the top, but in the mid, it definitely makes its way through in the composition for sure. That ginger note is definitely still lingering around in the mid as well. It's not going anywhere, so don't worry about that. Some openings only last for like 5-10 minutes. This one, however, does push through for maybe around an hour or so. Obviously, being an extrait de parfum, much more potent, much more concentrated, you will expect that. And I know that rose is listed. I don't get any rose whatsoever to my nose. Not a pink kind of clean rose, not a jammy red rose. So if you don't like rose, do not be worried about that note because it does not come across at all. Out in the base is what you guys have all been waiting for. That's when that creamy, spicy, photorealistic vanilla note actually makes its way into the fragrance. And I know a lot of cheaper vanilla fragrances can come across like headache inducing, very cloying, very cheap smelling. This one, however, is not the case whatsoever. It's the exact opposite to that, guys. If you don't like vanilla because of those kind of aspects that it can come across like, do not be worried about this one. You definitely still have to check this out because that vanilla is done to perfection, guys. Also, what comes across is that sandalwood, which is also a creamy kind of sawdusty note, which works perfect with vanilla. But that benzoin, now the benzoin is obviously a resin. It is very resinous. It's also a very sweet resin as well. And one of my favorites when it comes to that kind of notes like myrrh, benzoin, incense, frankincense, that kind of stuff. I love benzoin. Can also come across like candy-like, gourmand. Just like I said, all in all, a very sweet, sweet base. Other notes that are listed in the base like the patchouli, the cedarwood, the ambergris, and the musk, I don't really pick up on that much unless I'm probably at least smelling this and actually dissecting the fragrance. It might be there, I might be able to detect it, but the three main players is that vanilla, the benzoin, and that creamy sandalwood. And the base is also the star of the show. I know that opening is so good. That mid is also good when that black currant and that pink pepper comes across, but man, that base, you cannot beat it. You like warm, resinous, vanilla, spicy, kind of woody fragrances, man, I'm telling you, this is a masterpiece and a must-have for anybody that enjoys that genre of perfumery. So let's touch on seasons and occasions best for Ani. So for seasons, this is without a doubt a fall-winter based fragrance. Now, I know that opening does have that ginger, it does have that bergamot, which would work good for the spring. I mean, you definitely could still pull it off for like a spring evening if you're going out on a date or anything like that, especially when you're dressing up, which we'll talk about in a moment when it comes to occasion. But yeah, mostly a fall winter fragrance. Now for occasions, guys, this is not a casual fragrance by any means. It doesn't come across youthful, it doesn't come across playful, nothing like that. It is sophisticated, it smells expensive, and it smells definitely more mature as well. More suited if you're going on like a nice dinner date, if you're going to work in an office, especially during the colder months, or just anywhere you kind of have to dress up. But obviously you still can dress fragrances down. I do it all the time. But just when I picture in my head what this is more suited for, definitely more so for the formal occasion. Now let's wrap things off talking about the performance of Ani. Now, honestly, I've never had any issues when it comes to performance with the house of Nishane. They are all pretty much beast mode. I do own obviously B612 right there. Fantastic, cozy fougere fragrance. Obviously, one of the most popular is hacivat, which is similar to Creed Aventus, but I actually prefer hacivat because of that green, earthy oak moss dominant note. And that one, by the way, is also beast mode. Ani, however, is still extremely strong, but it's not as strong as maybe like a hacivat or anything like that, but it definitely is still above average. I get around maybe 8 to 10 hours of longevity on my skin. The projection, however, it lasted for maybe around 3 to 4 hours of decent CS and decent projection off your skin as well. So when you're walking around people, they will definitely get a whiff of this vanilla beauty. You will not go undercover with this fragrance. So all in all, no issues when it comes to performance with Ani. So do not worry about that. And especially if all you care about is performance, you'll still be good with this fragrance. But that's gonna do it for my review of Nishane's Ani, one of the best vanilla fragrances money can buy. Let me know down below your kind of comments, your opinions about this fragrance. If you ever smelled it, if you have a bottle, you're thinking about it, getting a bottle, just let's discuss that in the comments. But as always, leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you guys haven't already. And I'll see all you guys in the next fragrance video. Take care, everybody.